Welcome to our team training. We do this every Tuesday at 12 p.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. We go into some different parts of the business model components as well as different things like marketing, managing, consulting to help you grow as a professional, also help you grow your business, not only in terms of just a self-employed position where you own a job, but also actually build a business, build an asset, something that works for you instead of you working for your business. Before we get into today's training, we always like to review what we did last week. Last week, we talked about how to get clients online, daily leads, real conversations, more clients, how to generate leads online. If your marketing strategy does not include social media, your marketing strategy is not complete. This has nothing to do with how you feel about social media. It has to do with the amount of eyes and ears that you can get to on these certain platforms. And we discussed you don't have to be good at every platform. And if you haven't really mastered any one platform yet, start with one, put time, energy, resources into it until you mastered it, then move on. If you try to do all of this, you're going to be very confused. Not much is going to happen. Break it down platform by platform. Start with the ones that you think or that we've told you can get the best results. Today, what we're talking about is on the backs of that cycles of communication and pipeline advancement. Once you develop a persona and you develop messages that you think will resonate with that persona, meaning get in there and raise their hand and say, yes, I want more information. Yes, I want to talk to you. Yes, I want to schedule a meeting with you, whatever it is. That's what you need to do. That's pipeline advancement. That's the cycles of communication. So once you find your persona and have your messages, you need to understand how to organize this in terms of cycles of communication and pipeline advancement. We want to always reset the mindset. So remember, random conversations equals random results. Information dumping equals lost prospects. You have to understand who you're talking to, talk in their language, and present something that's value-based proposition, but also is broken down into an elementary like level where they'll understand and they can say, yeah, I'll take a look at that. Conversations, they absolutely must follow a cycle. That's how you have your pipelines built, you have your communication cycles built, and you follow that cycle. Every interaction should move the prospect forward, not to a predetermined outcome that you have in your head, but to an outcome based on everything that happens in those cycles. The core principle here, guys, is the conversation. You start the dialogue, you build rapport. Remember, trust, rapport, credibility is either going to have to be built when you start talking to somebody, or it can be pre-built by some of the things that you have online about you, your brand awareness, what you do, how you help people just like them. And then you position yourself in the conversation, share your perspective, establish value, and establish yourself as the authority, that person that the other side should feel knows what they're talking about or has access to people that knows what they're talking about and can help me or help them in this case solve whatever problem they're having or get to whatever goal they're trying to establish. Qualify. This is the do not move forward moment. Determine the fit, needs, and readiness of the prospect that you're talking to. If you can't qualify them, that means you're disqualifying them. That means you stop the conversation. You are wasting your time if you go forward with disqualified prospects. You're not doing yourself a favor or them a favor, and you're wasting both of your time. Direct. Once you've qualified, you direct. And when we talk about direct, we're guiding the conversation towards the right next step, wherever you are. And that's why the importance of a pipeline is so critical, because if you have a pipeline set up, hey, this person's in this part of the pipeline, I need to move him here. You know exactly where you're trying to move them to versus, once again, that random approach that's going to get random results. And then you advance, move that prospect to the next step. You are next action step obsessed. That's all you have to do. Keep moving them down the pipeline. Things will happen. Every conversation should end in one of these three places. If it doesn't, that means random events are happening, random results are happening. The next step, move them forward with a committed action. Follow up. Continue the conversation at a scheduled time with a clear purpose. That doesn't mean that you are waiting to schedule. At the end of that particular meeting or call, you're scheduling the next follow-up or disqualification. It's not a fit right now. Release and refocus your time and energy. If it's a situation where they were interested, but maybe they didn't have the resources, see what you can do to maybe help other people they know and maybe get them back in a position where they can take advantage of what you're offering. Guys, you have to control the conversation, and that doesn't mean control the outcome. That means control the conversation. The outcomes will come kind of like rolling the dice. When you do what you need to do, there'll be good outcomes, bad outcomes, really bad outcomes, really good outcomes, but you are developing enough leads and enough outcomes where you are getting what you want. You have to move the prospect forward, and you have to create real outcomes in this process. So the communication cycle, what's really happening in the communication cycle? Well, number one, you need to establish a communication cycle, meaning that you put them through loops of communication that are already preset, predetermined. You know what's going out, whether that's on an automated workflow or a manual cycle. So here's the cycle, and there's 5 stages to the communication and pipeline advancement cycle. And we've talked about this a little bit in the past, where you open, continue, and direct conversations. And when you continue that, you're looking at a surface level kind of problem or goal, and then digging down deeper. So you open, that's pretty easy. That's pretty straightforward. Start the conversation. You explore, understand the situation. How do you do that? By asking questions. If you ask enough questions, you'll get the information. That information uncovers a problem that you have a solution step or a solution for, and an action step that now makes sense. You deepen. Remember, you can't just glance over the surface. You have to deepen, identify the problems and the gaps, and then decide. Position the solution at the right point at the right time in the conversation that makes sense for them based on what they're telling you. And I say, based on what you're telling me, I think this makes sense to do. And then direct, move to the next action step. When you do these things, all you're doing is creating a systematic formula and a pipeline that you can adopt in your business and then teach other people. This helps you cut out the waste and the inefficiencies and the lost leads. Because if you're not following up, if you're not following cycles of communication, and you're not following up appropriately, that's lost revenue, that's lost income, that's lost growth, that's lost equity. So if you skip steps, you lose control. If you follow the cycle, you control outcomes. What are we trying to do? We always tell our clients, remove the variables, get as much control, which creates as much peace of mind as possible. Same thing on the partner side. We are removing variables, creating control and peace of mind for our business. So you got 2 pipelines, right? You've got the client and the partner, and they're different types of people with different types of situation and problems and goals, but it's essentially the same type of framework and formula. So the client pipeline, lead, conversation, discovery, solution, implementation. That's 5 steps, right? Identify and attract the ideal prospects. Remember, it's not a blanket approach where you're talking to everybody who will listen to you. That's going to be working hard versus working smart. You can work extremely hard in this industry and make absolutely no money, or you can work smart, build a business that works for you. Start meaningful conversations, build that rapport, build that trust and credibility, and then understand through discovery. That's usually a call, right? Understand their situation, goals, and challenges. You can't offer a solution if you don't have a discovery, if you haven't identified a problem or goal, right? The solution directly impacts or affects the ability to avoid that problem or get to that goal. So you're presenting the right solution using our proven model. And then implementation, you execute the plan, create lasting results. That doesn't mean that when they apply for something that you lose touch with them. You stay in front of them. Why? Because they're your client. They can provide ongoing value in terms of referrals, revenues, referrals, reviews, user-generated content. Also, they have changes in their life. So when you come back in front of them, you may need to, make changes, get them additional products or services using our model. Look at this, guys. When we say use our model, when we talk about debt, if that's somebody's biggest problem, let's talk about the debt to wealth strategy. If it's the risk, it's mortgage protection. If it's cash, it's IUL. If it's taxes, remove Uncle Sam. If it's income, retirement guaranteed. So these are all part of our system and our business model components, and you're going to pick which one you really like, develop personas around that, and go out and just do that over and over and over again, teach other people. You'll get the natural diversification of clients, partners, and strategies and systems and solutions by building your agency. You have different people coming in, they like different stuff, they have different personas, so you'll get that natural diversification. You want to get honed in on a couple things and become very, very good at it. One conversation can lead to multiple solutions. It's a lot easier to sell the same person 3 things than to go out and find 3 people to buy 1 product from you. That's why our model is so important to you, because we can take whatever's most important to them, Identify that, take care of that, and then we can start to move into other things. The more you help with their financial plan, the better
Hello?
that you help them, the more money that you're going to make. Partner pipeline, guys, this is basically the same thing, but it's different things. You're talking about ways that you can help accelerate their career, get them lead generation, book meetings, consistent cash flow, equity, whatever it is, but there's still a cycle, there's still a pipeline. That's the lead, that's the conversation, that's the Q&A, kind of like the discovery call for the client. That's just answering questions, addressing concerns, providing clarity. It's also a qualifier or a disqualifier. If I set up a Q&A, somebody doesn't make it, probably disqualified. How serious are they unless they have a good excuse? Q&A can lead to somebody saying they're not interested, they want to grab an agent code, or they want to learn more. If they want to learn more, we know exactly what to do. We schedule the BOP, business opportunity presentation. That's going to lead to the specific details that allows them and us to make a decision. Hey, does this partnership make sense? Should we move forward? That creates a decision. The onboarding. Remember, recruiting doesn't stop at the onboarding. It's a 90-day process afterwards to make sure you provide them with everything they need to feel confident in getting started. You don't want them to feel like they're on a desert island with no help, no support, no coaching, no mentoring. They're going to drift and quit. That doesn't mean that everybody deserves your time, energy, resources. If they're not doing anything, they have to start activity before they can, get rewarded with everything that we have as far as coaching, mentoring, training, support. Client pipeline. You are taking the problem and you're ushering in a solution. We solve their problem with the right solution. The partner pipeline is an opportunity into a fit. They evaluate the opportunity to see if it's the right fit. At the same time, you're evaluating them. You don't want to bring in everybody who can fog up a mirror. This takes, some type of skill set, consistency, grit, all the things that we look for. I always think in terms of if I was going to pay this person a salary, if I was hiring them for a W-2 position, does it make sense to bring this person on? So focus on the right people, the right process, and the right partnerships. This is not for everyone on the client and partner side. You're not trying to make the people. You're trying to find the existing people that already fit. All right, opening conversations. Once you master this, the floodgates kind of open for you, and then you move on to mastering other stuff. But remember, if you can't open a conversation, doesn't matter if you can continue and direct it because you're not talking to anybody. So this is the important first step. You want to open conversations without pitching. If you pitch people, if you pitch, sell, recruit all the time, it's going to fall on deaf ears. People will not look at your content. They won't be interested in, receiving your information, messages, whatever it is. The goal is to create some type of relationship or connection, not a presentation. So when you're looking at this, a framework is observation, relatable insight, question. Hey, make a statement about something they can relate to. Remember, I used this in the past. Billy Mays, that pitch man, used to wear the blue shirt. He got his start on the Atlantic City boardwalk. He used to say, you need to, when people are just walking by, you have to create some type of language where they're going to almost 100% of the people are going to agree or disagree. Do you hate stains? Things like that. So when you're making a statement, see if you can make them a statement to the persona that they're probably going to agree or disagree with. Then provide relatable insight. Share a thought or insight that creates awareness. And then ask a simple question to invite their perspective. Everybody loves to talk about themselves. Everybody loves to give their opinion. All you're doing is asking people questions. They'll talk, they'll get the information out. You provide at some point when the information comes out, you identify a problem, you create a solution and an action step. Pretty easy. You do that over and over and over again. Examples here. Crazy how people can make good money and still feel stuck financially. A lot of people are feeling that right now, whether it's inflation or whatever else is going on. Maybe it's we call it standard of living creep, because as you make more money, you spend more, and all of a sudden you're looking around, hey, I'm making decent money, but I'm just spinning my wheels month after month after month. We can help with that. Most homeowners don't realize how exposed they are. So the rule is don't explain, don't sell, get them to respond. Too much information kills curiosity. You're not showing interest in the other side. You're just showing interest in yourself by just talking, talking, talking. Don't sell. Pitching creates resistance. Remember, people hate to be sold. They love to buy. So make sure that you are getting them to the point where they are creating buying decisions, because that creates a whole slew of things on the backside that are positive for your business. Getting them to respond is the ultimate goal here. Curiosity, not pressure. opens the door. When we continue the conversations, once we open them, you're getting surface level stuff at this point. You need to explore and deepen the conversation to open up to help them understand why they should take the next action steps. Continuing the conversations is nothing more than explore plus deepen. You understand before recommendation. Remember, if you just went to a doctor and didn't tell him about any of your symptoms and he just started prescribing stuff, doesn't make sense, right? Same thing here. You're almost like a financial therapist in the beginning. Understand before recommending. So key questions. What is your situation like right now? What's your biggest concern financially? What are you currently doing? Deepening questions. Remember, those are surface level. Deepening. How long has this been going on for you? Hey, let me ask you a question. What happens if nothing changes? When you ask the deepening questions, you need to learn how to be quiet and probe even further. Have you looked into solving it? So remember, listen, understand, diagnose, then guide. Their answers are going to create clarity. Uncover the real problem they're dealing with. And that's not always going to be the first thing they say or the surface level thing. Diagnose, identify gaps and impact, then guide them, position the right solution for what they're saying, and preface it with, hey, based on what you're saying, I think we should do this. Key rule, the person who asks the best questions controls the conversation. Notice it didn't say person who knows the most about the products, or the person who knows the most about the underwriting, or the person who knows most about lead generation. It doesn't have anything to do with that. It's the person who asks the best questions controls the conversation. All right, guys, this is your do or do not move forward moment. And if you master this, you're going to save yourself a lot of time, energy, resources that can be devoted, taken away from the disqualified and inserted and invested into the qualified. You need to learn that you are not talking to everyone. If you try to do that, it becomes a long, hard day. I call it a chameleon approach. What you're doing is every person that you encounter, you're trying to get in front of, talk to, relate to. You can't do that. You can't be that chameleon and relate to everybody. It's going to come out as not authentic. People are going to see right through it. So develop personas. Who is it that you want to talk to? What do you want to talk to them about? And what's most likely going to get them to raise their hand and be interested in talking to you? Qualify or disqualify. Focus on the right people, save yourself time, get better results. The qualifiers for the client, person has a problem. Now, the problem is not enough. They have to be aware of the problem and open to the solution, has the ability to act. So once again, this person has a problem. They want to be helped. They have the resources to be helped. Great, we can move forward. This person has a problem. They don't want to be open to the solution. They just want to dwell and complain about the problem. Disqualified, right? This person has a problem. They're aware, they're open, but they don't have the resources to react right now. That's a disqualifier, but a disqualifier that may revisit in the future based on, hey, what you're telling me today, you don't have the necessary resources. If you could do this over the next 6 months, we can revisit this and implement this strategy. Disqualifiers, no urgency, no problem or awareness. They're not coachable. They're time wasters. There's a list of certain types of people that you want to avoid. They're all easy to identify. Once you understand who they are, you disqualify those people and move away from them quickly. The rule, obviously, disqualifying saves time. It protects your time, protects your energy. If you spend a lot of time talking with somebody who just wants to dwell on their problem, it's going to suck your energy. It's going to do a lot of negative things that have a ripple effect on the rest of your day. Not everyone is your client. Not everyone is your partner. Focus on who you can help. Focus on who would make, like I said, a good partner or a good client. Positioning the solution. So once there is a problem, they're aware of the problem and they're open to the solution, we are going to position the solution. So what does that mean? Well, first of all, you do not pitch. That's a red card. That's going to get you thrown out of the game, thrown out of the conversation, however you want to view it. So we're not pitching. What we're doing is we are setting up what's called in building a bridge. That's saying you either build bridges or burn bridges. This is you're trying to build a bridge by positioning the solution through connection, not pitching. Based on what you told me is a great preface to introduce things. It helps them understand, hey, this person listened to me. They understood what I was saying. And based on what I'm saying, they're telling me to do this. Examples, debt. There's a way to eliminate that faster. Protection. We need to make sure your foundation is secure. Taxes. You may be paying more than you need to. Notice we didn't talk about products. We didn't talk about anything else other than the solution and creating the bridge of what needs to happen from the problem and then the awareness of the problem to being able to accept the solution. Why this works: builds trust, creates alignment, position you as the guide, right? The rule here is diagnose first, understand the problem and not just on a surface level, dig down deeper, and then recommend second, then position the right solution based on what they're telling you. All right, directing to action. Remember, you're driving the car. What is the car? The car is the conversation or the meeting that we're talking about. So where are you driving it? You're driving it off the bridge, you're driving it off the road, or are you keeping it straight ahead to what we need to do, which is the next action step? Because this is where most agents are going to fail. So if most agents are failing at a point, what you want to do is identify that and understand how to preemptively avoid where most agents fail. What are we talking about here? Well, you must direct. You are going to control the conversation, or if you're not, the other side is. If you lose control of the conversation, they start controlling it, bad things happen. Take control of the conversation, guide it to the next step, whether that's book a call, send info, invite to a webinar, run report, whatever it is. If you're booking the call, obviously it's getting taken care of. If you're inviting to the webinar and they're interested, sign them up right there. Remember, sending links out or not scheduling the next meeting is just creating more work and more tasks for you. It's called busy work that you could have preemptively overcome by just doing what you need to do to set it up. Language, use confidently. Let's take a look at this together. I can show you exactly how this works. The rule here is no direction, no deal. If you don't direct the conversation, you don't move the opportunity forward, and then you're basically leaving it to the other side. Basically, either you're saying this or you're not saying this around directly. You're basically asking them, hey, what do you think we should do from here? And if you're getting to that point, either directly or indirectly, you've lost total control of the conversation. There's no deal coming from that conversation. All right, for your pipeline, this is the pipeline advancement strategy. Notice we didn't say close anybody, sell anybody. We are advancing the people through a pipeline advancement strategy to create outcomes. And this is one of the most important things that you can learn. Every conversation must move forward. It doesn't mean moving forward to a positive outcome. It just means moving forward to the next step in the pipeline advancement. So what does that mean? Well, you're looking at the possibility of outcomes, but every conversation should end in one of these places. Appointment set. A specific time is scheduled to move forward. Follow-up scheduled. A future touch point is planned to continue the conversation. Not, I will follow up with you. I'm going to follow up with you Tuesday at 3 p.m. Be ready to talk to me at that time. If you have any problems, schedule changes, please let me know in advance. Referred. They know someone who will benefit and can connect us. Remember, it might not be the fit because of resources, but that doesn't mean they don't know other people that can help build your business through referrals. If you don't ask for the referral, it's never going to happen. How do we ask for the referral? Who else do you know and care about that needs access to this information? Or the last kind of outcome is disqualified. Not a fit right now. Move on and focus on the right opportunities. Tracking. What gets measured gets improved. If it doesn't get measured, it can't really reflect and get improved upon. Conversation started. The number of new conversations initiated. This is the type of the pipeline. The more contacts, the more contracts. That's a pretty easy equation to understand. Conversation advanced. The number of conversations that actually move forward. This is opening, continuing, and directing conversations. Appointment set. The number of appointments set successfully. If you track this stuff, you can see the breakdown. Hey, I'm opening a lot of conversations, but not advancing a lot. So let me talk to people I need to talk to, like Mike, to help me get this this problem alleviated, or this blockade or this roadblock or obstacle removed. Once you have a free flowing, it's like a water hose. If there's kinks or ties in the hose, there's no water coming out the end. Once you alleviate all those kinks and ties, water flows freely. Same thing with your pipeline tracking. Focus on the right activity, track the right metrics, get the right results. So what does this all mean in terms of connecting to your business model? Well, it's all designed to give you a flow. So how everything kind of connects. This is how your business model should flow. So if somebody's biggest problem is, hey, I got these student loans I'm paying for, I'm getting notices, I can't make these payments, or these payments are killing me, then that's what we identify first. But we can take this through a whole level of things. So we can take them through student loans, then the cash flow, then the debt to wealth, then mortgage protection, then IUL, then retirement. may not happen over the course of a few days or a few weeks, but having clients, staying in front of them, getting them newsletters, things like that, getting annual reviews of what they have in place is an excellent time to stack sales. Hey, we met 5 years ago. It's 5 years now. Now you're getting a little bit closer to retirement. I think we should look at this stuff now. Each step builds on the last. Together, they create a strong financial future. Our average client buys a few things from us. It's not because we're selling them and we're great salespeople. It's because we're helping them at different points in their financial plan attack different things, get better, beat the banks, win the money game. And all of those steps that we're doing, it's not a parasitic relationship. We're helping them. They're helping us build the business. One conversation can lead to multiple solutions. That's a great business model to build for yourself and your partners. Common mistakes. Remember, we want to avoid these common mistakes. The 5 top conversational killers. You got to avoid these. You got to protect the conversation, and you have to actually do the necessary things to win the trust. The number 1 killer is talking too much. Guys, if you're not listening to other people, it just means that you don't care about them, what they have to say, and they're not going to care about working with you because you're not the person they feel that can help them. So you dominate the conversation, you shut them out. That's a top conversation killer. Explaining too early or not solving a problem they haven't fully opened up about. If you're trying to solve a problem that you haven't done a surface level or a deeper dive in, it's not going to hit them correctly. No clear next step. Unclear next step leads to confusion and inaction. All of a sudden, you stop hearing from them. They stop picking up your calls. They stop answering your texts. They don't read your emails. Number 4 is not qualifying. You are wasting your time on people who are not a good fit. And number 5, not following up. Fortunes in the follow-up. No follow-up equals no continuity, equals no opportunity. Avoid these to get better results. It's not a long list of 100. It's the top 5. If you can do these, your business will reward you from understanding the conversation killers and learning to avoid them. Listen more, ask better questions, lead to the next step. That's all you're doing. Daily execution system. So this is putting all of it into motion, because what you want to do is you want to create a daily minimum for yourself and your agents. If they're adhering to that minimum, great. We can coach and mentor them. If they're not doing anything, doesn't matter what training, support, coaching, mentor we offer, because they're not doing anything. 5 to 10 new conversations a day. Start fresh conversations every single day. More conversations creates more opportunities. Contacts equal contracts. 5+ continue conversations. Follow up. Keep the momentum going. This may seem tough at first, but as the more you do it, the more comfortable you get, and then it just becomes second nature. You're not even thinking about it. Consistency builds trust and moves conversations forward. And then you're always moving people to the next step. Don't leave conversations open-ended. That means you're losing control of the conversation. Guide people to the clear next action step. One of 2 things is going to happen. They're going to fall in line or do it. Great. If they don't do it, it's probably a disqualifier. Focus on starting new conversations, continuing the conversation, and advancing those conversations, the right ones, to the next step. Small actions every day, massive results over time. This is a compounding process. We're not asking you to do a lot, but you do have to get started and do something. So here's the close plus the challenge for this particular week for our general agent training. 7-day execution challenge. 7 days of focus, consistent action, massive results. So like I said, start those conversations, move the conversations, and track the outcomes. Goal is 10 new conversations. Follow up to either create the appointment or disqualify, and then let's figure out what's going on. Remember, there's 2 types of people that don't use accountability. 1, it's a foreign concept to them, or number 2, they think they're too cool for accountability. Accountability is the glue that creates everything, binds it all together. You don't get paid to talk, guys. You get paid to move people through a process. So 7 days of discipline can equal a lifetime of results. You can become unstoppable. Once you fix yourself, you're in a position to fix other people. Remember, and I'll end with this, guys, before we open it up for questions. Learning is important, but that's only the half of the 1-2 combination. It's learning and implementing. So implementation is everything. Knowledge without action equals still 0 results. So learn it, apply it, do it consistently, and get the results. Let's make it happen. Your future is built by what you do today, coming off this. Remember, what you do in the next action has an impact on or what you do in the next hour has an impact on your annual goals and the results of either getting to those goals or not getting to those goals. The gap between where you are right now and where you want to be is called action. Don't just learn, implement, take imperfect action, jump in the deep end, move fast, break stuff, whatever you want to say. Go out, get better, make it happen. Decide you want to commit to your goals, burn all the bridges, burn all the boats. There's no other option for me but success in this business. Take action, execute every single day. Small steps lead to big results. Stay consistent, level up, keep growing, keep improving, keep winning. In the beginning, the outcomes might not be there. You need to celebrate the small victories and then inspire others. Your success creates impact beyond you. People are going to buy into you and your vision before they buy into what's really happening on the platform or with our team. The best time to start was yesterday. The next best time is right now.